So we are trying to recreate this chaotic video. Now this is the first indoor video that I'm doing in this challenge, so this should be interesting. First in Blender, let's go to our motion tracking tab and drop in our background video. Prefetch setting frames and let's hit detect features and track forward, and then detect features again and track the other way. Okay, so now we can take out this bad track. Now let's solve the camera. We got a 2 pixel solve error. Interesting. Okay, let's click on focal length and optical center and solve camera motion again. I've got 0.69, which is pretty alright, if you ask me. Now let's go to clean tracks and reprojection error and just select just a few of the track markers. Yeah, not too many, and delete. Now let's solve camera motion again. I have a 0.3. 0.3 is good. So click here, here, and here. Go to setup tracking scene, then floor. And make sure we have this on the floor. Okay, let's go to output and switch this around. 1920. Yeah, 1080 here. Good. Now let's make sure this thing is actually tracked to the floor. Now let's scale this up. Yes, scale it this way. Let's rotate it a bit so it lines up with the actual scene. And in edit mode, grab the edge select and bring this all the way down. So GYY. Yeah, as far as you can take it. Let's spread this out a little bit more on the x-axis. Yeah, then go to cycles and also make this a shadow catcher. Okay, it's already a shadow catcher. Okay, let me take out this collections here and then go into rendered view. Now, since it was quite cloudy outside, I used this environment texture, urban street. Okay, render film transparent. So, but we can't leave it like this, obviously, because this isn't outdoor. We are not outdoor right now. So what we need to do is to try and roughly recreate this scene. So let's click on the camera and go to background images, make it very visible. Now what I would like to do is to duplicate this floor and lift it up on the y-axis, on the z-axis I mean, and take it up until until it aligns here, until it aligns with the edge. So where is the end? I think this should be the end of the wall. Yeah, let's rotate it so it lines up. Okay, let's scale it on the x-axis and let's click on this edge in edit mode and extrude on the z-axis, so easy. Yeah, so what I'm basically doing is creating something like a box. Let's scale this here so it's wider. Yeah, something like this. So it won't be as bright. Now let's also add in these lights. So let's add a cylinder and scale it on the z-axis a lot. S shift Z to scale it on every axis except for the Z. And let's just line it up with this ceiling here. RX 90, and just put it right below the ceiling, so somewhere here, and scale it on the y-axis. Yeah, so what we want to do is to try to line this up with the line that we'll have up there. So in our rendered view, GY, GX, let's rotate it, and the x-axis, and SYY, then SZZ. Yeah. Okay, let's also do a S Shift Z to get it. S Shift Z Z actually to get it thicker, so it matches the light here. We just want it to be able to cover this light entirely. So SZZ. Cool. Now let's add a material to this and call it let's change the emission to, let's use 10. Yeah, keep the emission color as white. Let's see if this affects the lighting. Let me turn off the world just to check. Okay, it affects it just a little bit. Let's increase this to 50 and also Shift DX on this side. Yeah, we're just trying to line it up with where approximately where these lights are supposed to be. Cool, and I think there's another one on the other side, so duplicate it, RZ90, and bring it on the y-axis, on the GXX. Yeah, so we just line it up here. Cool. Let's increase this thing from 50 to 100 and see how that looks. Interesting. Okay, let's make sure all the lights are underneath. Good. And let's bring our world back to 1. Yeah. Now I think we have majority of things typically set up, and we can put whatever we want in this scene. So what we want to do is to basically replace this shelf here and this shelf here with our own shelf. So you can either model it yourself or find one online, but I would recommend finding something that looks very similar to this. It's just better when you replace a physical object with one that is pretty much exactly like it in general geometry or something close to it. So this is the shelf I used. Let's just drop it here. Yeah. Now let's try and line this shelf up with the video. So first of all, make sure it's on the right place on the floor and it's not intersecting. Okay, cool. Now just adjust this. This is something I absolutely shouldn't have done in one day. I should have spent a lot of time working on this. So bring it here. So let's rotate this on the Z-axis so it lines up here. Bring it on the X-axis so it basically covers the one that is underneath. Yeah, we don't want to see that again. Cool. Now what we want to do is to basically duplicate this. Let's make this invisible. Let's call it, change it from ground to ceiling, and let's make it invisible for now so we can move things around. So this guy, we want to basically duplicate it. So shift D and drag it this way and drop it around here so it's like side by side. Let's see how that looks. Cool. So let's just do Shift R to repeat that again and again up until we get to a point where we have covered the background video. So that is too much. As you can see, this is not enough. So let's just click the three of them and move them. Let's just move them in the y-axis and try to just make them line up. So you do a lot of X and Y motion until you get exactly what you're looking for. So move it on the X, then move it on the Y until you pretty much line it up. Yeah, I think it's good somewhere here. And let's bring it on the X. Yeah, we can work with this. Now let's go to the top view again and duplicate this in this direction. So Shift D and bring it here, just right beside it. Yeah, and then Shift R So repeat that and Shift R one more time. Cool. So we're not seeing this one, but then since the camera is moving, we might reveal it here at some point. Cool. You can see it's pretty much tracked in. Let's make our ground invisible too. Yeah, pretty much looks like they're there. Cool, let's just repeat that for the other side. So we can copy this entire thing and Shift D, bring it here, RZ 180 to flip it, and then you also try to align this here too. So it's a lot of X and Y movement, and also R rotation. So RZ to rotate it and make it line up with this. So GX, GY, let's rotate it again. GX, GY, rotate it a little bit more. Then GX, a little bit of rotation again. Some more GX. Good. We have this well tracked. Let's increase our passport to camera viewport display increase. Good. So if I play this now, it's already looking like the shelves are tracked in there. Yeah, I think this is the hard part. The rest is pretty easy. Now for your items, you need to pile up these shelves with a lot of stuff, and that is up to you. You could find models or model something yourself. For example, if I press this cube, it's already looking like a cereal box. So model things like that, cereal boxes, cans, which are basically cylinders. Let me add a cylinder. So because I don't have time, I'm doing this challenge every single day. I found a bunch of products like home supermarket products online, and I just filled up the space with it. So let's just do that too. First, let's use an array modifier. I think would be the fastest way. Array modifier. Okay, let's rotate this to line up with this. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring this down and put it up here. Make sure it fits. And let's add an array modifier. Array, put it on the y-axis 1. Let's remove the 1 from here. This should be 0 and this should be 1. Cool. Then increase this one to like something like this, 1.25. Okay, now since this is one spot, let's increase the count to, say, let's just make it simple for the tutorial. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Yeah, just 5 here. Let's duplicate all this up, so we have 5 more here and 5 more here and 5 more here. So I'm doing this as fast as possible so we don't spend 1 hour on this tutorial, but obviously take the time to make sure this thing is not intersecting and it's placed correctly. So let's copy all of this, just the boxes, and Shift D on the Y axis and drop this one here, and do it for the next one. Shift D, Y, and do for the last one. Yeah, so we now have a bunch of boxes. Let's give them a material. Okay, let's give them different colors. So let's give this one pink and give this one green. Give this one red, reddish. Give this one orange, and give this one blue. My initial plan was to have everything in the store just explode, but then that would have been too complex and just super convoluted. So let's do it for just this shelf here, this shelf here, and this shelf here. So let's click on all of this and we can link the materials. make sure you are clicking this last one, Ctrl L to link material. Okay, so let's do something similar with the cylinders. Add an array modifier on the Y, 1.25, or make it wider, something like this. Okay, let's increase the count to how much space would this take? I think 4 is enough. Yeah. Okay, 4 is not enough. We need more. Let's make it 8. Yep. And just line them up here. Now you could take your sweet time while doing this and make sure it's well placed. Just doing this as an example. Mix things around. Yeah. And you can also find images of cereal boxes, cans and whatnot to texture it. So for this, let's select all of this and Shift D on the Y axis. I hit Y twice, by the way. You can hit Shift R to repeat that. Shift R again to repeat that. Shift D, YY, and then finally Shift R. So let's make this one the red material, and the link material. Let's make this one the orange material and the link material. Let's leave this one as white, leave this one as white. Let's make this one red. So select all the products and make it red. Then the one you want to affect, this one in the center, the orange, and this one opposite here. Let's make this one purple. Okay, we select all the products and give it the purple material and Ctrl L to link it all. Just quick work. Now we have it populated. We have an entire aisle filled up with stuff. So what we need is rigid body on these guys and these guys here. So first of all, let's select all of this, and make sure they are not intersecting. Yeah, the ones that you are putting rigid body on should not intersect for any reason. Yeah, that would be a nightmare. Let's bring it down just a bit. Good. Now, next thing we should do is to go into edit mode for all of them. No, before that, go to modifier and apply the array. After applying the array, click the second one, apply the array, and just apply the array for every one of them. Yeah, Ctrl A to apply. Then, with everything selected, now you can go into edit mode, select all, and P, separate by loose parts, so they are each their individual item. And the very important thing is to go to object, set origin to, let's use center of mass. So they are all their individual objects that has their individual properties. Now they can be affected individually by a rigid body. And finally, we should go to physics and turn on rigid body for this. Let's go object, rigid body, copy from active, so they all have rigid body now. Cool. Now for this guys opposite here, let's do the exact same thing. Select every one of them and apply the modifier. So for this one too, shift, select this, apply this, apply this, apply, and then select it all, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now let's go into edit mode, P, loose parts, object, set origin, center of mass, object. Okay, let's first go to rigid body, make it active, then object, rigid body, copy from active. Nice. Now make sure you add a rigid body to this your shelves. So add a passive rigid body, change this to passive, and do the same thing for this shelf. Change it to passive. Now let's hit play and see what happens out the gate. Yeah, that is very chaotic. Let's click on the shelves. Click on the shelves and change the shape from convex hull to mesh. So Blender knows we want to use the actual mesh as the collision. And let's hit play again. Cool. So it's just this crazy one that moved for some reason. Oh, I see why it moved. Let's just take this 3 and shift it to the side. And yeah, since this is a store, things should not be super arranged like this. Mess with things, move things around. You shouldn't be too organized. Let's hit play and just make sure everything stays put. That is the goal here. Yeah, everything is still cool. Now let's bring back our ground and add a passive rigid body to the ground. And then final thing is in the middle, let's add a force field. Force. Let's set this to -600 and bring it to the middle. Yeah, somewhere in between both of them. So let's see what happens now when I hit play. Yeah, they all come together. Cute. The extra stuff I did was just me trying to be funny. You know, the cart and the magnet. So I don't know, let me just give you something to just illustrate the idea to you. So let's say this will be our cart now. Let's scale it on this axis. Edit mode, click on the top face and delete face. So this is our cart. Let's bring it back to where the camera is and bring it down. Maybe we should scale it on this axis. Bring it down. Bring it on the Y. Now let's also, in edit mode, extrude along normals and give it some thickness. And then Shift N to recalculate normals. Good. I think we're good now. So let's add an animation to this. So at the point where everything balances out, so say frame 50, when everything has vibrated and calmed down. At 50, let's add a keyframe here. So here, insert single keyframe, and for a while, let's say till 120, not 120, 100. Wants to move fast. Let's take this forward on the y-axis to where these things are. Okay, I think we should add keyframe on all axes. Yeah, just add keyframe on everything. Then at 100, let's bring this here in the middle and add another keyframe. So let's see what that looks like. When I hit play, yeah, it rolls forward. Yeah. Now what we also want to do is to parent this guy. Let's bring it in and parent this to the cart. Now it should follow the cart. Yeah, we absolutely don't want this. So this is the cart, yeah. When we get to the center, say at 90, 95, yeah. As we are approaching the center, let's click on our force and set the strength to 0. Then hit the keyframe. Then at 100, set the strength to -600 and hit the keyframe. Now between here and here, the force would start acting. So let's see what that looks like finally. So we'll push our cart forward and then, yeah. Okay, the final thing is obviously this guy should have rigid body on it, make it active animated. And let's go to scene, rigid body world, cache, make this end at say 160. Yeah, and yeah, let's set the end frame also to 160 and let's see how this looks. Okay, I don't think this thing has rigid body on it yet. Oh my god, what was I doing then? Make sure this cart has a rigid body on top of it. Active animated. Yeah. Let's look at that again. Also, let's increase the speed of the simulation to 2. I don't like how slow the things flew out. So let's even make it more than 2. Say 2.5. Yeah, now let's see how this looks. Yeah, cool. Another thing we can do is to change this from convex hull to mesh, so it knows that there is a hole in it and it's meant to enter the hole. Yeah, but why are these things passing through it? That's very weird. Let's apply the scale. Let's look at that again. Okay, it's no longer entering. So some of them just glued to the back and some of them are in front. So yeah, this is basically how I got the effect. Let's go to scene and hit bake. So bake 1 to 160. Then let's start our animation from 50. So start should be 50 and 160. So 110 frames. Since we have baked it, it will play nicely. So push the cart forward, everything falls in. That is the fastest way you can go shopping to get everything you want. So let's look at it in the render view and make sure everything is alright here. Okay, cool. We have our nice shadows. Everything is well tracked. Yeah, we have good shadows. Good. Our ceiling, yeah, let's bring back our ceiling. And we can also increase our world. We want to match the lighting here to what is outside. So let's increase our world to 2. Okay, I think this works. Yeah, this is basically how I made the chaotic shot. So just build on this. There's a reason why this tutorial is already getting long, and there is a reason why I'm doing this as simply as possible. This can get really complex really fast, and there are a lot of little detail you'd have to do to really make it sell, to really sell the effect, tweak the realism, the materials of the shelf of your actual products and all that, and then sound design, compositing, and the rest of it. So yeah, that is it for today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this and want to learn more, I'm launching a course, the Hyperrealistic VFX Mastery course, August 15. So if you're ready to take your learning to the next level, I'll be waiting for you inside of the course. The link will be in the description. See you in the next one.